This is how you can transform a presentation from Gama into a nicely formatted presentation in PowerPoint. Whenever you try to download a file here from Gama, coming to share and export the PowerPoint, one thing you'll notice is that the presentation will come in with this default design, and a lot of the pages, depending on the type of account that you have, will have this watermark. And this usually not so great images and design that could be improved. And for that, we can count on the full power of PowerPoint to make the necessary improvements. When you download your Gama presentation, the first thing that you may want to do is to remove this watermark that is here in the presentation. It doesn't have in all pages, but the pages that have it, we may definitely want to take it out of there. One thing that you can do is that if you hover here over any of these items, you can select them and delete things. But if you try to select here on top of this item, you cannot select it. The way to fix it is by coming to the View tab, then select Slide Master. This is going to show the Slide Master section in PowerPoint. And from here, you will notice that these pages have these items here on the right side, which then you can select and delete. So I'm just going to go quickly into these slides and delete all these images from there. Now that all the images have been removed from all the slides, what I can do here is to close the master view. And when we go back to the presentation, we will see that those buttons here on the bottom right disappeared from all the slides. And to make sure that everything is okay, we can always come down here to the slide sorter and make sure that those bottom right icons are no longer present, and this looks okay here on this presentation. So going back to the normal view. Another item that we can do here is when we come here to the design, you can very quickly, actually, just let's keep here, change the style, the theme of the presentation to fit the brand style of your company. So in the click of a button, we can start to change the entire look and feel of the presentation. And whenever you find the style that you like, you can always come back to this other item here and change the colors once you find a theme that you like. And if your company has a theme of their own, you can always apply. For this example, I'm going to keep this custom here because this works well for what we are trying to do now. Another thing that you may want to do is to remove things that are not needed from the slides. For example, this is a presentation and I don't need the buttons, so I can select those items and click on delete, then go to the different places and click on delete. Whenever I'm done doing one type of thing in my slides, I always go back to the slide sorter and make sure that everything looks the way that it should up to that point. Another item that we may want to fix here is that some of these slides have the text in the middle of the slide, and I don't want that. I want to make sure that all the titles are on top of the page. So one strategy to do it is coming here to the Home tab, applying a layout. We can select, for example, a title and the content layout, and that's going to show some items here in the middle. So just by selecting the header of the text and one of the items of the text box, we can very quickly align it to the top, and the text will move around. And from there, we can always change the layout again, and the things will disappear. And this methodology ensures that when you apply the same type of alignment, the locations are always consistent, and we make sure that the presentation looks as clean and organized as we can, knowing that they all follow the same guides. Another improvement that I made here to my presentation is that I wanted to transform these three text boxes into one diagram that I can more nicely present the data and make animations. So in order to do that, I had to combine all this text into one text box. If you use PowerPoint, if you're not familiar with it, there isn't a default way to do that inside of PowerPoint itself, combining these text boxes, unless you want to copy and paste the text from the different boxes into its own box. So for that, I'm using this other tool called BrightSlide, which merges text from different boxes into one location. BrightSlide is a very nice tool that I have been using in my presentations to help with formatting, and it gives some extra functionalities to PowerPoint. It is a free tool that's available for Microsoft Windows, and I think they have for Mac as well. And the process here is once you download this app, then you can install it to your laptop. Then you need to register and confirm your email in order to have access to all these tools. I have been using the work and it is pretty good. So I don't have been associated with them. I'm not affiliate. It is just a tool that I thought I would introduce to you as part of your tool set, expanded the tool set to improve your AI editing capabilities. So in this example, I'm going to merge this text from these two boxes. Notice what happened there. Now I'm going to select this box and select the other two items that I'm looking for. Notice that it moved everything together. Now I'm going to select these two here and merge text. So very quickly, this two text is in the same box. So from here, what I can do is to convert this text into a SmartArt. So in this example, I can use this item here. Once the text is in a SmartArt, we can give the indentation here to set the levels of the item. Now we have everything here together in one place. Then we can expand here a little bit. But notice that working with SmartArt is kind of difficult because it changes the size of everything simultaneously. So even if I come here and try to decrease the size, I find that sometimes it's very hard to navigate the different elements inside of a SmartArt. So my strategy for that is whenever I'm satisfied enough with a SmartArt diagram, what I do is I select Ctrl Shift G to ungroup the SmartArt and then select Ctrl Shift G again, and that will break down each element into their own shapes. So from here, I can, for example, select these items. Because there is just one item inside, I can remove the bullet point by selecting the different elements in the page, which I can do very quickly by selecting everything and moving things around. Then if I want, I can come here and increase the size of the left margins, for example, decrease the size of the text just in these fields, and even change the shape that these icons are located. So for example, if I wanted something like this, I can very quickly have that to give a different type of shape to the presentation. Another thing that we can do here is, for example, change the image if we are not satisfied with it. To change an image in a presentation, I can right-click on the image that I want to change. I'm just going to show me some options. We can click on change picture, then from stock image, for example, and it is going to open this pop-up. I can select one of these items, click on insert, and here is the new image, which then, if we want to change things around a little bit, we can come here to crop and expand the size of this image to the size that we see fit. And if I want to, for example, make this image here the background of the entire image, I can either crop it on the side of the slide, or alternatively, we can copy this image, then right-click on the background and click on Format Background, then click on Picture and Text Fill, and from here we can click on Clipboard. And then that's going to apply the image that we just copied to the background. From here, it's much easier for us, for example, apply another background, which let me just quickly here, create a background that has a light, move this to the back. So my text is at the front, and move some things around. One thing that I like to do for my background is apply a gradient fill, which I'm just coming here to gradient, which because of my format pane is already here, I can just click on gradient fill. Then sometimes I like to make it radial with some colors. And then the colors on the corner, I like to make them a little bit more transparent, just to give it a little bit more of a check on the back and make things merge together a little bit better. And then very quickly we can start putting the presentation in place by making just some minor adjustments to the content that is presented. In this case, I also usually remove the outline. I can come in here and select none. And that's how we go slowly building the presentation, slide by slide, making the changes that we need, coming back here to the slide sorter and make sure that everything flows properly, and using the information that we got out of Gama or any other AI tool, and make the change necessary to fit our needs, our brand, and our purpose. That's how you very quickly go from a not formatted presentation into a nicely edited presentation in PowerPoint.